So welcome back, guys, to another video, and today I want to talk about how I retro in 2024. Now, the simple answer is emulation. But no, we got to go back to 2017 when I decided to sell a big bulk of my retro collection. I'm talking about 35 consoles, over 2,000 games. And here I am in 2024, still making videos to this day talking about retro games. How do I do it? I really feel like it's been a process for the past couple of years. I've changed different methods, and I feel like it really is a mindset you have to get into to enjoy emulation. There's a certain kind of connection as a console player, you know, putting in the cartridge, playing it, it's just nice. It feels great. So going from that to a more digital medium can be very jarring sometimes. Now, my gateway was the Raspberry Pi 3. And you know, if you were around in the gaming community during the boom of the mini consoles like the NES Classic, the SNES Classic, chances are you had folks like me being like, why don't you just get a Raspberry Pi? Why don't you just get a Raspberry Pi? Very cringe. I apologize for that behavior. But the reason why is because this is at the time, this was an awesome little PC that you could install RetroPie, and you can emulate from the Atari 2600 all the way up to the PlayStation 1. You can even do old PC games and handhelds. It was a jack of all trades. But I'll be honest, in 2024, we now have the Pi 5. I wouldn't recommend the Raspberry Pi today. You know, if you find a Pi 3 cheap out in the wild for some reason, definitely pick it up. But they've gotten a lot more expensive, and I feel like there are more affordable ways to enjoy games of the old school days. Last year, I got a mini PC. This is the Ace Magician. Got this on Amazon for like 150 bucks. Here's the thing, folks. If you're looking into getting into the mini PCs for emulation, wait until about a month when school starts back for all the students, because there's going to be a huge influx of sales on PCs and used PCs. So while this is normally 220 bucks, I got it on Amazon for like 150 using a coupon. But no, this unit itself, when I first got it, I thought I was conned, to be honest, because I bought this thing, hooked it up, I put RetroArch on it, and I started trying to run Dreamcast, and it could barely run. It could barely run Dreamcast. I'm like, what's going on here? Because even an Amazon Fire Stick can run Dreamcast. One of the things that a lot of folks who review the mini PCs, especially for emulation, that they leave out is they're using an external device that has Bonacera. Like an example, this is my thumb drive. I have a micro SD card, 256 gig micro SD card running Bonacera. What is Bonacera? Think about having the power of the Raspberry Pi, but it's almost like a key to emulation you can put in any sort of Windows PC. Rather it's a laptop, a mini PC, a desktop, what have you. And what makes Bonacera so amazing is the fact that the programs and everything's running off the micro SD card or whatever memory kind of thing you have. I'm trying to be technical here, but it lightens the load on lower end PCs. And this PC that at one point couldn't run Dreamcast is now running Dreamcast at full 1080. It's running Sega Saturn, PlayStation 2, N64, OG Xbox. I've even had this thing run the 3DS a couple of times. For 150 bucks, I have over 30 consoles that I can run on this thing, and it's super small. It's fantastic. Now, of course, in terms of Bonacera, you can go on Amazon right now and you can buy like a 12, terabyte hard drive of Bonacera with tons of games. But I'll be honest, I'll have a link on the description of how to install Bonacera on, an SD card or thumb drive. It's better to know a little bit more about it than just going for a straight plug and play, because a lot of times when you order these, external hard drives full of games, most of it's just full of fluff. You're gonna have like 6 or 7 versions of Contra, 8 different versions of Super Mario Brothers, and that's not even counting the fan ROMs. And that's the thing about emulation. I feel like if you have too many choices, you have too many things, you're going to find yourself like just bouncing from game to game like a pinball than actually sitting down and enjoying video games like you would if you're, plugging it through your NES console. Also, for all the handheld players out there, Steam Deck, Switch, great for enjoying retro games, but also these little Anbernic handhelds. This is the Anbernic 280V. I did a review about a year ago talking about this, the pros and cons to it. And if you have social media, chances are you've seen something on your For You page of someone trying to sell these things. Yes, they are legit. Yes, they do what they say they're going to do to some degree. Some of my favorite brands would be, you know, like Ambernick, Pow Kitty, Retroid. I feel like they do a really good job making these handhelds. But especially with Ambernick, there is a new handheld like every week. So as much as I love the 280V, I know this may not be for everyone, especially the size, but I like how small it is. I also like the fact that I can play, you know, any 8 16-bit PlayStation 1, you know, on the go. A matter of fact, I actually play more Game Boy games on this, like Game Boy Advance, than anything else. Just like my security blanket, because I have like a little bag that I carry with me that has like all my stuff, and I'm like, anywhere. I could be waiting for a table at a restaurant. Boom, I want to play some PC Engine. Now getting into some of the weird stuff with the emulation, because, well, another thing that folks don't mention enough is how emulation almost becomes a hobby within itself. How you almost want to take anything you can and be like, can I run Super Mario Brothers on this? Let's go. Because like I mentioned earlier, I had the Raspberry Pi 3. Even though I don't use it anymore, I still use it today because I recently got a CRT free at my job. They were going to throw out this Emerson 2002 CRT, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? It even came with the remote. But seeing that I don't no longer really have retro consoles, I just used the AV out on the Pi 3. So now I'm playing Neo Geo arcade games, you know, 8 16-bit PlayStation 1, you know, Sega CD, playing all that stuff on a CRT. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of old with a little bit of new as well, and it just hits all the right notes. The only console that I have actually hooked up to the CRT, surprisingly, is my Nintendo Wii U. Why? Because I have a soft modded Wii U. Listen, folks, it's 2024. Nintendo doesn't care about the Wii U. They shut down the eShop just, you know, last year. You can't access any of these games anymore. You need to mod it. No, seriously. Modding the Wii U isn't that hard. Look up a YouTube video. Look at the most recent video, because all the firmware updates that Nintendo still does sometimes. But I feel like it really unlocks a lot of potential for that little console, because I essentially can play GameCube. I can enjoy N64, Wii. I mean, there's something so nice about playing like House of the Dead on a CRT. Like, it just feels right. But before I end this video, I do have some advice I want to give you guys myself if you're wanting to jump into emulation. That is, don't download everything. Don't have full libraries. As tempting as it is to have every single Super Nintendo game or every NES game, PC Engine, you know, like, your options are as big as your hard drive. But please don't download all of them, because you'll find yourself, you know, picking through games and playing a game for like 2 seconds more than actually sitting down and enjoying. And I feel like that almost defeats the whole purpose of having, you know, all these choices when you can't make a decision. And also get different controllers. You know, I have a USB N64 controller. I have this GameCube controller that I still hook up to my Wii U. I feel like having different controllers that kind of correspond with that console really helps with the immersion. And if you're, like I said, someone like me who predominantly always plays console games, it feels just a little bit more legit to play, you know, NES with the NES controller, for example. But anyway, guys, how do you retro in 2024? Do you still play the OG hardware? Do you do emulation? Do you just have like mini consoles? Or maybe you're just subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online and you're fine with that? There is no wrong answers, because at the end of the day, we're enjoying games from our childhood or still discovering games that we've never had a chance to play, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, but also hit the bell so you're notified on all future videos that come out on this channel. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.